My name is Elizabeth Robertson, and I'm going to be speaking about sustaining interest in classical music. There is a critical need right now to increase interest and financial support for classical music. Many orchestras around the country have decreasing numbers of regular subscribers, and even the most prominent orchestras in the United States are facing financial difficulties. Other nonprofit arts organizations are also facing a similar decline in numbers of memberships and funding possibilities. A variety of programs are currently being implemented by professional orchestras to promote interest in classical music and to increase concert attendance. Although these programs serve an important function in the community, their effectiveness is difficult to assess, and their power to truly establish new concertgoers has yet to be determined. My job is a combined position that includes teaching at the University of Evansville and also performing as principal oboe of the Evansville Philharmonic Orchestra. The University of Evansville is a small private liberal arts university with professional schools such as business, nursing, engineering, and music. I have been an instructor at the University of Evansville for 11 years and have taught music appreciation many times. As a professional musician in a regional symphony orchestra, I have observed the decrease of interest in classical music firsthand. Because I also teach at a small university, I have both a musical and an educational perspective on this cultural pattern. This past year, I discovered that educating undergraduate students, in particular, may be the best solution to build future audiences for classical music. College and university students are open to new experiences and to learning. Students who make the commitment to finish a course are good listeners and willing to invest effort to learn the material. In addition, college-age students can strongly influence friends and relatives. They frequently converse about their musical interests and can encourage others to attend and support artistic venues and organizations. College students are also an advantageous group because they will soon be independent adults looking for entertainment opportunities. As a faculty, we have probably all observed the deterioration of writing skills in young people today. This decline in writing level has been documented frequently. Many college-age students are accustomed to writing informal communication, such as emails, texts, and Facebook messages, but lack knowledge of and mastery of formal academic writing. Some students also lack confidence in communicating verbally due to reliance on these same popular conventions. Universities, additionally, need to constantly reassess offerings and provide new, relevant classes for students of all majors. General education classes meet a very deep and substantial need in society. They broaden students' perspectives, helping them to think in new ways and experience other areas of study. Depending on their degree program, many students only have the opportunity to learn about the arts through their general education classes. Because students are increasingly choosing more practical or technical careers over humanities studies, this trend will probably continue, if not strengthen, in the future. Because most college and university curriculums are already determined and include a full schedule of classes for students to complete for their undergraduate degrees, it is often a challenge to add new courses. The official, often complicated process to have new courses approved can also be a deterrent. Fortunately, many colleges and universities have a general education core that is required for all students. It is in this area that many schools allow faculty more freedom to develop and introduce new course offerings. In fact, many colleges and universities are continually looking for ways to enhance and update their general education courses for 21st century students. Arts-related general education classes play a vital role in developing lifelong interest in the fine arts. Most music schools and departments offer a few general education classes, but we as faculty need to consider innovative ways to reach students who may not choose to or who may not have time available to take traditional introductory courses on classical music. The University of Evansville, where I teach, is a small, private, liberal arts school with an excellent nationally recognized academic reputation. In recent years, the need for more intensive writing classes has been addressed and various approaches have been discussed and implemented. In an effort to establish a higher standard of writing, all freshman students are now required to take at least one semester of a basic writing course. However, the structure of the course has been changed from a standardized survey of several historically important books to many different first-year seminar courses based on a wide variety of topics. Any professor may propose a freshman writing course on any subject, so faculty members are able to create courses that fit their areas of specialty or expertise. Most colleges and universities offer writing courses, but a writing course on an arts-related topic is truly inspiring and an ideal method for developing students' knowledge of and enjoyment of the fine arts. Writing assignments require students to respond to works of art in a meaningful way. Classroom discussions help students learn to make their observations about music and to consider how their perceptions are influenced by different musical and visual styles. Writing assignments facilitate the analysis process and require students to communicate their thoughts in an organized manner. Although substantial grading time may be unappealing to faculty members, the rewards are well worth it. Because general education courses are offered to students of any major, new arts-related general education courses need to be structured similarly to a music appreciation class. Students for this type of class are not required to be able to read music. This stipulation, of course, severely limits the music analysis that could be included. For my course, class discussions focused on characters, plots, and musical and visual aspects. When I was asked by my department to create a new music-related first-year seminar writing course, I decided to create a course on opera because it's a fantastic art form that hardly anyone knows anything about. Because operas include so many different elements, studying the development of this complex genre is an interesting and more visual way to introduce students to classical music. In designing a new course, the challenge for faculty is to decide which materials to include and which to exclude. In planning my syllabus, I had to choose specific texts and operas to cover, paper topics, and assignments for the students. For the first year seminar grading structure, I was required to have 50% based on writing assignments, 30% based on the midterm and final exams, and 20% based on other assignments and participation. In addition to organizing the musical materials and assignments, I had to ensure that all the content would be suitable for the level and format of a freshman writing class. Because my course was an official first-year seminar course, the content and syllabus also needed to fulfill the required objectives and outcomes and to be approved by a faculty committee. The course had to include important historical texts and at least 20 pages of student writing. The syllabus had to include several lectures on writing topics, such as essay writing basics, proper integration of quotations, citations, bibliography, format, and in addition to grammatical issues and punctuation. This first-year seminar course was an opportunity for the music department to reach out across the university student body. Students from diverse majors such as health science, engineering, exercise science, nursing, and business. Any student may take my opera course to fulfill their writing requirement. It was a challenge to choose only a limited number of operas to focus on from the thousands available. In the end, I decided that no one should finish a class about opera without knowing something about Handel, Mozart, Rossini, Verdi, Wagner, and Puccini. After sorting through many possible works, I finally chose 9 specific operas to cover in greater depth. The Monteverdi example shows the beginning of opera. It is based on mythology, it's fairly short, and basically continuous in action. It contains many choruses and dances, along with the famous aria and recitative. There's also an excellent historical production available that uses ornate costumes and Renaissance instruments. The Handel opera Seria is a magic opera containing 2 castrato roles. The hero Orlando goes mad and tries to kill his fiancée. The DVD production that is available has a contemporary style and portrays a very compelling drama. The Mozart and Rossini are classic examples of Italian opera buffa and are both based on the Beaumarchais plays of the same name. Bizet's Carmen is a favorite and is well known to opera aficionados. I chose to include Verdi's Othello because of the intensity of its characters and plot, and because it provides useful comparisons to the other operas discussed. Of course, no opera course would be complete without a portion of Wagner's Ring cycle and a Puccini Verismo masterpiece. I chose to organize my course chronologically because I wanted students to see the progression from early operas with clearly defined arias and recitatives accompanied by basso continuo to more continuous and elaborate dramas. The main objective for this specific general education course was to improve students' writing and critical thinking skills. The texts for this type of course are of great importance and need to be significant in terms of history and literature. I chose the 2 plays by Beaumarchais, The Barber of Seville and The Marriage of Figaro. I chose to cover Shakespeare's Othello and Voltaire's Candide because they form the basis for operas of the same name and were thus intimately connected with the course content. I used the new No Fear version of Othello, which is translated into modern language and is consequently much easier to read and comprehend than the original. I also chose to have the students read Wagner's Ring by M. Owen Lee, an enthusiastic, condensed introduction to the Ring cycle. For an overall general opera text, I have used Eyewitness Companion Opera, which contains basic plot summaries and some detailed information for many operas, along with photos and interesting facts about famous productions and leading vocalists. Since the course was on the topic of opera, I required students to watch several opera DVDs outside of class. And because of this, I planned the course schedule, the reading assignments, and the paper assignments to allow sufficient time for students to include the opera viewing in their schedule. I did show portions of many different operas during class. The sound system provided was not always adequate to produce the volume needed, but the students were usually able to perceive the general effect. The sound system truly must be considered in planning the location of any music-related general education class. In order to reinforce and increase knowledge of the works and composers discussed in class, I had students fill out worksheets for specific operas. I designed the worksheets to provide objective material for quizzes and exams, and to help students retain important information about the opera's plots and characters. Worksheets were due on the days of the quizzes, so students could use the worksheets as preparation for the class. The quizzes covered the reading assignments and operas and information from the worksheets. I found it helpful to provide introductory PowerPoint presentations before starting each of the 9 main operas. These lectures gave students details and background for each period, region, and genre. A significant portion of class time was devoted to discussions of the characters and themes presented in both the texts and the operas. These class discussions were designed with the goal of helping students to think about topics for their paper assignments. To broaden students' perspectives, I incorporated 3 guest lectures into the syllabus. The University of Evansville opera director came and spoke about his responsibilities. The conductor of the Evansville Philharmonic Orchestra came and explained his role. And a local ballet teacher who danced in the Royal Ballet and operas in London came and discussed examples of how ballet is used in operas, as well as his own experience as a dancer. Each of these guests effectively conveyed their enthusiasm and their expertise. In addition, I took some students to see a live opera performance, which was an excellent way to connect the class material to a real-life experience. It was a challenge to obtain sufficient funding. However, the students that were able to attend enjoyed it immensely. After reading through the final exam essays and evaluations for my course, I was surprised by the depth of knowledge the students had achieved. Because they were required to write papers, students had to react to each text and opera, and had to take time to organize and communicate their ideas. Students were introduced to a wide variety of operas and learned to differentiate between styles and time periods. Many students discovered they actually liked many of the operas. Most importantly, they were able to form their own opinions and to have confidence in expressing their preferences. As a professional musician and a music educator, I long for all concert audience members to have these exact skills. This type of general education writing course could easily be adapted for any arts-related topic. For example, it would be fascinating for students to take a writing course on sculpture, or 19th century painting, or American musicals, or Russian ballets. Subjects with visual aspects facilitate opportunities for observation and comparison, and subjects associated with literature provide an immediate foundation for discussion. For classical music, many topics are possible, from specific genres or forms to particular periods or regions. To truly sustain interest in classical music, it is vital that we make a strong and purposeful effort to educate young people about this incredible art form. We as faculty need to transform our general education classes to effectively teach future generations about the intricacy, beauty, and power of classical music.